Have you just recently heard of your Indigenous heritage? Or maybe you're just wanting to start reconnecting with your cultural roots. Watch this video to find out where to start and how you can begin reconnecting with your Indigenous cultural roots. I'm Mallory Graham, Anishinaabe from TribalTradeCo.com. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for new videos every week on smudging, the Indigenous culture, and Native teachings. When I left my childhood home, I found myself answering tons of questions about my heritage, life as an Anishinaabe, and as an Ojibwe woman of Curve Lake First Nation. Have you just recently heard of your Indigenous ancestors? Or maybe you want to revisit traditions and cultural practices from your childhood? As I shared stories and information with friends, family, teachers, classmates, even total strangers, it made me feel closer to my heritage. Now, Tribal Trade Co. offers people a chance to learn and connect with the Indigenous culture through online Native teachings and other resources. One of the most common questions that we receive from people who want to reconnect with their Indigenous cultural roots is, where do I start? Luckily, we've helped thousands of people in discovering and reconnecting with their Indigenous heritage and just what they need to do to get started. So we put together 3 quick steps for you if you don't know where to start with reconnecting with your Indigenous culture. The first step for reconnecting with your Indigenous ancestry is to learn about your nation. There are more than 500 Indigenous nations in North America alone, all with their own unique practices and traditions. Just like knowing what country you're from, knowing which nation that you are a part of can help you more deeply connect with your heritage and give you a clear image of the history of your ancestors and your elders. Growing up in Curve Lake First Nation meant spending a lot of time at powwows, learning traditional teachings from my grandparents and other elders, and spending lots of time with my family. Because I was able to learn and experience so much of my Native heritage, I then carry those teachings and keep them close to me whenever I'm away from home. By learning about your nation, it will help you to discover more of the specifics about your tribe or the group of people that you come from, including the language or the specific teachings and protocols that they follow, as well as if they're known for any specific kind of hunting, trapping, or gathering of any kind, or if they're known for any certain types of cuisines or recipes. Just the experience alone of learning about your nation can help you feel more connected with who you are, with your family, and when people ask you about yourself and your heritage, you can feel much more confident about sharing information with them. Now, the second step for reconnecting with your Indigenous culture is to learn about smudging and the sacred medicines. If you grew up around Indigenous people or you've ever explored anything relating to the Indigenous culture, then you've likely heard of something called smudging. Smudging is a traditional process of cleansing your mind, body, spirit, and your environment, and has been used by Indigenous people around the world for centuries, every day and in ceremony. Once you discover your nation from step 1 and the community that you come from, the smudging protocols and ceremonies, as well as the sacred medicines that are most significant and important to your people, will become known as well. For most North American people, smudging involves burning sacred medicines to create smoke. This helps to cleanse and purify a person's thoughts, their surroundings, and their spirit. While smudging is used for a variety of purposes, like cleansing harmful airborne bacteria in a room or creating positive energy, it can also help you to reconnect with your Indigenous heritage. To learn more about the smudging process, watch this video right here, or download our Sacred Medicines and Smudging Guide at the link in the description below. We believe that the sacred medicines were gifts given to us from the Creator and from Mother Earth, and can help us connect more closely with the spirits and with ourselves. Did you just recently learn about your Indigenous ancestors? Or maybe you want to revisit your traditions traditions and your culture from your childhood, please share with us in the comments below. So now we've looked at the first 2 ways on how you can reconnect with your Indigenous cultural roots, which is 1, to learn about your nation, and 2, learn about sacred medicines and smudging. Now the third step for reconnecting with your Indigenous culture is to study the medicine wheel. The medicine wheel is the basis for many Indigenous beliefs and ways of life. It is a very important symbol and part of the Indigenous culture. If you've never heard of the medicine wheel before, then watch this video right here on what is a medicine wheel. Learning to interpret and use the medicine wheel can help you to live in accordance with Indigenous beliefs and help give you a deeper, more personal understanding of your ancestors. The medicine wheel is most commonly known for being a circle divided into 4 equal parts. The number 4 has a particular significance in the Indigenous culture. Each of the quadrants represent a variety of different things, like one of the 4 directions or the 4 states of being. Each of the quadrants depend on one another, and one cannot exist without the other 3. They need each other to maintain that balance. By carefully studying the medicine wheel, you can begin to develop a reconnection with yourself and with your Indigenous culture and form a new level of health and well-being. As an Indigenous person looking to reconnect with your heritage, the medicine wheel could offer some answers to your questions, and you could discover some missing parts of yourself along the way. Now, these are just 3 of the quick steps for how to get started with learning the Indigenous culture. If you're wanting to learn even more, there's so much more resources and Native teachings to learn, such as the 7 grandfather teachings, other Native symbols, and teachings surrounding the Indigenous worldview. Now, after watching this video, you can get started with reconnecting with your Indigenous cultural roots, and you will feel much more confident when people ask you about the Indigenous culture. If you like this video, please let us know by hitting the like button. Tell us what you liked about it in the comments. Please subscribe and share it with your friends. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.